Okay.
I can get the other lights. I have some other little lights in the closet. Okay, sorry, I wasn't streaming when we did the minutes. Can we do it again?
I will motion to approve October and November minutes.
I will second. Thank you for the- Oh,
So do we need to, we have all in favor?
All in favor?
Yeah.
And Kimberly, I'm having some issues with my meeting owl, so we're just kind of doing it old school. Thank you, everyone. So it's sort of recording us. So. Okay, and of course Victoria isn't here, but I know one thing that she wanted to discuss is officer roles and member renewals. Just to, I have a list here, so Victoria and Ezra, your term is up in March of this year, and so not putting you on the spot, you can let me know by email if you want to renew. And you can renew as many times as you want. Or if you want to cycle off, you can do that as well. Kimberly when Kimberly started, she picked up a partial term, partial vacant term. So Kimberly, you're up in March as well. And so is Sally, even though Sally, I know you just joined, but you had a partial term. So again, you can renew as many times as you want. It's not like, all right, get out of here, Sally. You just joined us. So
Okay.
I'm assuming you'd want to
stay.
renew. But again, like, think on it. Let me know if you'll have any.
I'm sorry, I bought table lamps for this exact
I
situation.
think they're in here.
They're not though, I can't, they're not in there. They used to be, that's where they were when I last saw them, but I don't know where they are now.
Okay. So yeah, Victoria, Ezra, Kimberly, and Sally, just email me and let me know if you want to renew or not renew, and we'll get that process started. Mhm. So yeah, just let me know what you want to do, and if we need to do a call for any new members, we'll get that started, or either way, we'll have to submit a letter to the mayor and commission, just letting them know who's renewing. Just, it's a formality. So that's member renewals. And then officers, I know Victoria did not want to continue as chair. So if any of you have interest in being chair, let me know. So it's something to think about. We can talk more if you have interest and you have more questions about what does it mean to be chair, anything like that, just reach out and we can chat about it. So that is officer roles and member renewals. All of our other officer roles, as far as like vice chair and secretary, are kind of, in a transitional phase as well. So if you have any interest in an officer role, let me know, even though Marissa has been doing amazing as sort of de facto secretary. I don't know how you feel about being secretary, Marissa. So yeah. Okay.
Oh, we gonna take her.
I'll email you.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Okay. Great. So we'll move on to staff report. BAC training, most of you have completed that. There's still some of you finishing up, so just finish that up as soon as you can. And if you're having any issues with it or need to reset your login for the training, let me know. Because you have 90 days once you enroll, and if you don't complete all the videos before then, they just have to reset it for you, and just, I'll take care of that. Just let me know if you're having issues with that. Also, your ACC Gov emails, all of you should be able to log into your emails. I know Marissa was having some trouble the other day, so we'll fix that. Anyone else, if you're having issues with your emails, let me know. Just go in and log in. I'm going to be kind of phasing out the Google Drive and the Google Groups and all the Google stuff, and we're going to, go towards just using the ACC Gov emails. So I'm going to create a new group, so we'll be phasing that out. I'm going to be, taking a lot of those files and things off the Google Drive. They're not going away. It's just that, we're paying to have it so everyone can access those. And that's just like a monthly cost that we really don't need. So we're going to be phasing that out over the next couple months or so. So probably this week, I'm going to send a test email out to all of your ACC Gov emails. So log in sometime before the end of the week, and it'll be like a test email, like just let me know that you got the email, and just like a quick reply, yep, I got it, that sort of thing. And we'll go from there. So, we'll do it slow, I promise. It's old habit for me too, to just use the Google Groups, but we'll just do a new group. I know Stephanie has something she wants to present on as well, but I'll just go ahead and run through the regular project stuff while you set that up. And so projects, we had a call for a new poet laureate that closed back in November, and a new poet laureate was selected. It was a really wonderful meeting. Ezra and Montu were part of that, as well as some other folks. And it was really nice. Everyone was in agreement that this person was just the best choice of all of our applicants. We had nine applicants. A lot of strong applicants, but I think it was a really great choice, and we'll be making a formal announcement soon. We're working on her contract and scope of work, and we'll be making that announcement probably in the next month or two. So stay tuned for that. I'll share more about the selected poet once we do the announcement. Something else that we have right now that's live is a call for art for the Flight of the Fireflies Lantern Parade. Last year was the very first one of these, but it's going to be an annual event at Dudley Park. This next one is going to be March 16th, and which is a Saturday. We have a call that's live right now for temporary light art that will be on display just during the duration of the Lantern Parade. So we have 4 or 5 sites selected in Dudley Park where these pieces can go. It's a $500 budget. We don't keep the art, so if you submit a proposal and make something, you get to take it home at the end of the day, and do what you will with it. So it's not a ton of money, but I think it's a fun project. It's a brand new thing for us, so we'll see what kind of proposals we get for this. It's kind of a tight timeline. When we have a selection meeting scheduled for the light sculpture selections, I'll send out an invite to you all if you want to participate. That'll be a really fun kind of Most likely evening, meeting, and we'll go through all the proposals and do a selection. So if you haven't participated in a selection before, that might be a good place to start. So that'll be a nice, exciting project. Stephanie, anything you want to share about the lantern
Did
parade?
anybody go to the lantern parade last year? Were you here? Okay. That lantern parade is like a thing that I was the instigator for leisure services. Leisure services is 4 major public events a year. They're free and for everybody in the Athens community. So it's like the 4th of July fireworks, the holiday, Christmas holiday parade. We did the balloon festival. We typically do something in the fall, and then we do the lantern parade because we needed something new to add. And so the lantern parade was something I thought would be a really cool event for Athens. And it's really like participatory art experience, but I call it a lantern parade because, you know, people will show up for that. And the idea is to create, like, it was a way too to get people excited about the fact that we've renovated Dudley Park. Both of the trails go through there. So you got the Greenway and the Firefly trails both traverse Dudley Park. So I was like, you know, how do we get people to come to the park and create this special occasion that's at night? Because typically the parks are closed at night, right? Except if you're riding your bike through on your street. It's okay, I think, if you're in motion, but you're not supposed to like hang out in the park at night. So we hosted the first one last year, which was really just about like teaching people how to lantern parade and how to get into the park, because there's like 5 different ways to get into the park, and sort of the logistics of parking and all this kind of stuff. So it was a really big success. Like, people really enjoyed it. It was about 300 or 400 people came, which is pretty good turnout for something that people, I didn't even have any photographs to really show people. I mean, it was like, we'd done some really tiny lantern parades here. We walked to like Attica on the trail and such, but this was like, you know, walking through, starting in Dudley. We didn't get to walk over the bridge because it wasn't finished yet. We had to go underneath the bridge. So a little bit of parking lot, dirt road. We had to walk by all kinds of like earth moving machines for the construction site, but it was fun. And I had the, you know, West African drummers there. We had the poet laureates poetry projected. It was very cool. We had all this sort of decorations and trees. So all the after school kids from all leisure services after school programs all got to make lanterns that week, and maps and invitations to go home with all their family. Good times. So this year, we're expecting probably 3 times as many people, because people now have a video, which we can share. It's on the ACC's YouTube. If you ever want to go look at it, it's really cool. So last year I hired a local puppeteer company to make a puppet so that we would have this giant illuminated puppet to sort of like set the tone. And it was beautiful and magnificent. And it took 7 people to carry this giant puppet at the beginning of the parade. So this year, what we're doing is adding these lighted sculptures, and as a way to kind of get people to get involved and kind of get creative. And then my hope is that year over year, we will add other tiers of like ways that we like fund and encourage people to like create either large puppets or illuminated lanterns, and ways to like every year it gets a little bit bigger and people get like excited about collaborating and making something. They look forward to it. So this year we'll start in Dudley Park. And this year we'll get to go over the bridge, which is really cool and beautiful. And these lighted sculptures will be sort of like points along the way. And we'll have some other, like, we'll have the drummers, West African drumming will be back. We'll have projected poetry again, we hope, or something similar to that. So we just do some things like that to really transform the forest at night so that it really feels like really special and meaningful. And it's a very simple event. It's really just about people coming together from all these different points, meeting in this common place, going on a journey together and coming back to where they started. So it's very simple. It's completely free, all ages. So that's why I'm really excited about it. So that's a project that we're currently focused on because it's like, whatever, 8 weeks out. So I'm excited to see what people come up with for lighted sculptures. It's, like I said, kind of a new concept. So we're still getting people used to like, what is this park and how do I participate? So we're not expecting a huge splash this year, but we're hoping that some people contribute some ideas about something maybe that will, you know, add some excitement and something unexpected while people are on this journey together on the lantern parade. So, okay, there's my lantern parade spiel. Nope. There's no vendors, there's no food trucks. We just basically we have some lantern making workshops here. We'll do lantern making workshops with all the after school kids again. The East Athens Educational Dance Center students wore these beautiful LED wings, and were like kind of stole the show last year a little bit, which is not surprising because they looked so incredible. And they just, you could see them up on the hillside, this whole troop of lovely young dancers with these illuminated LED wings. I mean, it was spectacular. I highly recommend watching the video. And people made all kinds of cool stuff. And this one girl was carrying around like a lamp, like you would have in your house. It was so cool. Like there's just like people really made things, and some people just came with nothing. I walked with some of my neighbors who didn't, they just wanted to come. They didn't even make a lantern or bring one. And that's fine too. Like it's supposed to be something that's like free and easy and simple to step into. This should be a very like welcoming, simple experience.
And with the sculptures, they are temporary. So, you don't really have to be like a professional sculptor. Like it's not like a regular public art piece where it's going to be permanently installed and has to be really, it just has to last a few hours.
Well, you can make Christmas lights and bubble wrap.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
can make that happen.
we're
It's also
encouraging.
so it's not you're not going to see all the scenes and details, right? It's like just be about.
Yeah. So upcycled, recycled materials are great. That sort of thing. And some of the sites will have access to like a plug, and some will need to have some sort of battery to power them, like a camping battery or something like that. So yeah, just something to think about if you know anyone that might be interested, or if you are interested yourself. Let us know.
Please mark your calendars and join us on
Yeah.
16th.
The other thing coming up for next month is I just last week got the T-SPLOS budgets for the all of the T-SPLOS 2023 projects. So I'll be presenting on those, and we'll be talking about which projects are going to be suitable for art and which ones might not be. So that'll be coming up next meeting. As far as all of our other projects right now, everything is in the contracting phase right now still. It's just how it goes. But just as looking at the next 6 to 8 months or so, we're going to have a lot of projects coming to completion at the same time. Our Greenway projects will hopefully be installed sometime in the spring. Our Firefly Trail projects will likely be by summertime, and then our 3 arena projects will probably be late summer, early fall. So that's going to be a lot of projects kind of wrapping up at the same time. So, we'll have lots of ribbon cuttings. It'll be very exciting, busy year for public art. So just something to think about. And I'll keep everyone posted. I'm really hoping that we'll be able to make some actual announcements and press releases about some of these projects. Just as best practice, we wait until the contract's been executed and everything's kind of been finalized before we do that, because a lot can happen. And we've had some things come up with some of our project sites. So we always try to straighten those things out before we make any announcement, in case we have to change a site or, change where it is. This way we're not like, oh, it's going to go here. And then we're like, oh, not really. It's going to go over here. And then it gets really confusing. So, so stay tuned for some of those. So a lot will be happening in the next few months. And of course, we have, like Helen mentioned, we have a brand new website as well. It is live. We did sort of a, a soft launch late November. So if you haven't had a chance to get on there and poke around, the link is in the agenda that I emailed to everyone. So take a look at that, see if you find any dead links or anything that you think we can fix. I did a training with our web designer to kind of learn how to update the website, which was very helpful. There's a video that we did, and just everything is a lot more organized. So that's nice.
I have a question.
Sure.
I had emailed you about the panels that we approved that way.
Yes.
What's the timeline on that? Is that still happening?
It's still happening.
Heard Park.
Okay.
So I'm waiting to sort of have the next phase of that triggered. So they were waiting to paint. So Lay's painted, Herb is painted. And so I think the next is when they have the availability to do the panels and how they're gonna arrange them on the building. And that's one of the things I think that will have some choices and will likely, I'd like to involve y'all in like, should we do it like this? Should we, should it be oriented which way? So those are slated. We're just waiting for colleagues to bring that to us when it's like ready.
We have a call in draft, so, it'll be ready, soon. We have a few projects that will have calls coming up. The community center murals, Tallahassee Roundabout, and Bishop Park, gates. Calls will probably be going out next few months or so. So, yes. All right,
Ready?
Yeah.
A lot of the times, the work that we talk about in the industry is public art projects that are from like a 1%, right? It's from a capital project, but that's not all the art that we do. So I wanted to bring to you a proposal. Okay. So I've been working with the Athens Justice and Memory Project, which is a committee that is working on the Lennon resolution. And this is a proposal that I'm bringing to the Cultural Affairs Commission, your body, to supplement the current Lennon budget for their Walk of Recognition art. So they currently have $50,000 allocated for the work of public art to go on the Walk of Recognition as part of that proclamation. And I am proposing a $25,000 addition to that from the SPLOST 2011 fund. So just a reminder that the fund was set up to jumpstart the ACC public art program, and we have used it, or y'all have used it in the past. We have used it to supplement small budgets so that we can add on to them to make the project better realized, right? Like larger artists might be more attracted to it. We get a bigger, larger scale or double something, kind of like the gates at Bishop Park, right? So this idea is that the additional 25,000 will help, accommodate material costs that have increased in the economy since the proclamation was signed, and additional funds would allow for an increased art budget and cover the design fees associated with an RFQ process. That is our intention, is to have an RFQ process. If recommended by the ACAC, the proposal would need to be approved by the SPLOST Oversight Committee, because the SPLOST 2011 has committees connected to them. So if y'all were to propose to make an addition to their funding, we would make a note of that in the meeting notes tonight, and then that would go next. I would take this presentation and proposal to the SPLOST Oversight Committee, and I would say the Cultural Affairs Commission supports this or whatever, and we go from there. So I just wanted to get a little bit, make a little PowerPoint to talk a little bit about the history of Lennon. So this is like a photograph that's from the New York Times. This is Hattie Whitehead, who's been who's basically at the forefront of this. This relates to the program of University of Georgia's Urban Renewal Program from 1962 to 1966, where they contracted with the city of Athens to demolish Lennon in order to create 3 dormitories that currently stand there today. The city of Athens, I'm sure y'all have heard about this. So the government of Athens-Clarke County acknowledges the fundamental injustice and resulting harm to Lennon and other Black communities as a result of urban renewal by the city of Athens and the University of Georgia. So in partnership with the Lennon residents, seeks to recognize the history and legacy of Lennon and its descendants through installation of an on-site Walk of Recognition. So some of that is in the proclamation talks about a number of bullet points that as a government we are instituting to realize this proclamation. The renaming of Lennon Lane, which was completed last fall in 2023. The Center for Black History and Black Futures. Not positive that's the exact name.
It's not. It's the Center for Racial Justice and Black Futures.
Okay, thank you. I saw it written so many different ways today. Okay, that is a proposed site at the Classic Center Arena. I don't have as much, that's not a part of this project that I'm working on. The Walk of Recognition includes public art and signage at the proposed site at Lennon Lane and the Cloverhurst intersection. And then there's also a note about historical designations and markers for extant structures that were from Lennon. Buildings that were removed from the site and recreated elsewhere. Like I said, this is also part of the project that I'm not working on. Yes.
My understanding is that there have been some obstacle to the Walk of Recognition public public art installation due to some conflict with the university. I don't know the history of this very well, so I'm just wondering, is this like outside of university jurisdiction?
Yes,
So
I'm gonna get to that.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it. I have all the exact details. Okay, so this is just some background on what was WAS 2011, like that's what it, the actual initial project statement. And then here's just like a timeline of where we're at, where we are today. And then the next step would be proposal to the oversight committee. Then I'm working, the inclusion office is actually who's working directly with the Athens Justice Memory Project. And then the arts division is working like in tandem with them on this specific part of the walk of recognition. And so then there would be a call for public art. And we're working on that. So this is I don't have the height and all of those things because I'm still working with my colleagues within the government around all of the spatial that we're forming that will go into the call of art. But essentially like this area between the sidewalk and the street is where the art will go. So I'm not sure, it won't be that close to there has to be some visibility. That's what I mean by my colleagues who work within traffic and who work within the, the sort of built environment, helping me to communicate for the call where the art will actually go so that artists can respond. So it'll be an RFQ, the idea that artists will say, here's the kind of work I do. And here's, who I am as an artist. And then from those, we will ask for proposals and those people will be compensated for their site specific proposals. And so I acknowledge that it's a challenging spot, but I don't think possible. So this is my call is to invite the Cultural Affairs Commission, if you as a body would like to recommend additional funds for to add to the $50,000 budget that the Athens Justice Memory Project has designated for the art. This is very specific. There's going to be like signage that has historical marker. I don't know if it's historical marker, but it's definitely going to be signage that also talks about the history of the site and connects like, why is there a piece of art here kind of a thing. The funds that come from the SWAS 2011 and any other funds, that has to go to art because art money is for art. So there you go. You have any questions?
I don't think your question got answered. So I don't know if you answered it.
I have another question. I think she answered.
So I was gonna ask, is it still going to be a mosaic? Is that the materials that do we know what this funding will specifically go towards? Just general.
It will just go for art. The original, we've been on a really long journey with this project and it has been through a lot of iterations. And it is not going to be specific to that medium any longer, to my knowledge. That's why we've had a lot of just processing issues to get to that point, which is why, we've finally arrived at a place both with the Athens Justice and Memory folks, the Town Descendants, and all of us here at ACC Gov have finally arrived at like using a process that we use all the time to bring public art is the way to go. So putting out an RFQ to ask people to send their qualifications and then asking them to create proposals specific to the site is the best way forward because we understand how to like contract for that. It's a process we do all the time here to bring public art to our community, and we needed to bring that. So I know that there was work towards mosaic, and one was actually sort of realized, even though it wasn't installed. And that was good and important work, I think. And I respect those artists and all of those community leaders who did all of that work. Went to many of those meetings and many of those community meetings about this. I've been on this project for quite a while, but that mosaic specific is not feasible at this site, and in a process that Athens-Clarke County government can work with it. We just, we have these really rigid, I hate to say that, but rigid is the word. Like we have a really rigid process based on our ordinances and our state laws. We have to make this project realized within those boundaries. We can do that. Like we're right here at it. Yes, ma'am.
Is the area going to be, is it like a linear thing? How big is it? It's physical area. Or is it just that one little square?
I I have a couple of different, I mean, it's 9 feet wide, 50 feet long but like I said, I'm not making a formal statement that that is the exact dimensions because I am still working with my colleagues in both traffic and public works to arrive at what the actual dimensions in sight and how we communicate that in the call. I'm still in the process of that, but it's not a big space. Like, I mean, I know I can pass this around. I'm sorry. That's why I don't have a great, images for this. These are notes and I can't verify the validity of these exact sites and locations, but we're going to put art there.
Is there a map of the walk?
Nope, because we are going to do the call for art, and then when the art is cited, then we will add signage. That will be a separate, the signage will talk about the history and the sort of give context to, whereas the art, like if you imagine, there's two different jobs at play here. The art will be the thing that gets people in touch with their feelings and like a deeper understanding, right? Like more intuitive. And the signage will give history and context. And also the signage will direct people either through a QR code or another source to a repository online. This is the third piece where we'll have, more information for people who want to know more. And as well as like, given the, this is not the big process, and I can't say that all of these things will be realized because I'm only on part of this project, but the hope is that we will have an opportunity to have audio recordings of descendants and people, remembrances of their life and times in Linden Town. We'll have lots more information to give people about what this historical site is. So the art will be about like the emotion and about the things that transpired there and what it meant to the people who live there and to all of us. And that signage will give like the historic and educational context. So I know. Yes.
Okay, I have several questions.
It's okay.
So the 25,000 that's being requested on top of the 50,000 is simply to be more competitive for the artists. I mean, they just wanted to up the bid.
I think with material costs being what they are and the complexity of the site, I think a slightly larger budget would garner the attention of more artists, bigger artists who are more interested in this. And just looking at the marketplace for what big projects. And I think this is really important. This is the first time that we're doing something like this in our community. And I think we have funds unused in this past 2011 budget, and it was designed, to create these opportunities to add to budgets, to either make them larger, more site specific, to increase attraction, whatever. And also I'm not sure because we're doing an open call, what kind of materials they use, but we know across the board, materials cost more money. Everything costs more. So I felt like I've been working on this project for a while now, and I feel like, I felt like this was a project worthy of bringing to you all to ask if you would support that supplementation and if you thought it was worth it to add. Yes.
Is there a second line for the funding?
Yes, that is the part that we have. So like I said, some money is like has to be for art, and then there's other monies that are like for educational and for the signage. And so they have tried to do the signs already. They went out with an RFP. They didn't get any responses. We're not sure why. Maybe the budget's too low. I really hope that's not the case for the art. I really hope that we attract artists that really find this a really interesting and really important thing to work on.
So there is, you know what the budget is?
I don't know what the budget is for signage because I'm helping with that part, but really my part is the art. So that is about making the art process actually successful because we haven't been able to do it. So if we use this process that we all use here to make art together, right? If we bring public art to Athens-Clarke County, then we'll be able to make art happen here at the
So
site.
would there be an opportunity for the artists to work with whoever is doing the sign, kind of collaborate on that?
Potentially, like we're going to work first on the signage. First part will be about like continuing to gather information and what that context will be about, and then so I think we're kind of working at it now as like an art first, then the signage, then the digital assets. Because the digital asset parts might take a little bit longer, but think, and like the website is the thing that is like changeable, but getting the art call out there and confirmed, and then bringing the artist in and going through our contracting process, that takes a little bit. So we're hoping to get that. But we would love to be able to like have a ribbon cutting kind of consecutively. Yes.
Is 25,000 all that's available? Is there more?
There is more. It's just I picked a number that I just thought was a number. So also, I picked a number that I thought was adding to 50,000, making it a $75,000 total budget for art.
Can we say 100 total?
I mean, y'all can make you can suggest more than that.
You know, it kind of, the space to me seems real confined, so I wouldn't see it as a big, you can only spend so much money on that kind of, that just seems really confined.
I
You
know.
said 9 by
It's
50 is
It's a
what you
tight, it's tight.
That is a guesstimation.
Guesstimate.
Yeah, that is what I think we are working with. Please do not hold me to that at this moment.
And it's a very challenging site because, you can't go right up to the edge of that curb, and you can't go right up to the edge of the sidewalk. There's a lot of things that, when we're dealing with, the right of way, it's going to be probably even, narrower than that.
And will it,
I was just gonna ask if we know the height of the,
It can, and that's what I'm waiting to hear back from my colleagues in like traffic and public works, because there are some limitations about like sight lines and this and that, but that can be variable based on like how close it is to the intersection and things like that. There is parking, that's kind of why I put this car in here. And then I'm working on that. I know it's a tricky spot, but we've come a long way to siting it here at this particular place. And this is where we've arrived at.
what does UGA think about?
Hmm?
I mean, they're gonna let this happen?
I can't speak to that because I don't work at UGA, so I don't know. But I know that.
I would just hate for all, yeah,
I don't know what the
I would just hate for all this work to be done and money to be allotted for them to be like,
We have, like I said, worked, we've been at this for quite a while now, and so and lawyers and people who know property lines and rights of use have looked closely at this. We feel, I would not be bringing this to you now in this way if I didn't think that we were really right there, ready to write a call of art. I've been working with the Lindentown descendants and the Athens Justice Memory folks to write that call and to be there for what it communicate to artists, like what kind of art is an opportunity here. So I can speak. Yes.
for Athens already.
Yes. That's it.
So, is this gonna be a national call, and will the Athens Justice and Memory Committee have the say on the selection process, or is this being open to the public the way that any public art project would be?
Good question. It is a national call, and it will be using the same selection process. We will invite members of the Athens Justice and Memory Project to be on the selection panel, and they'll be for this, but we will have a selection panel like we always do of Athens-Clarke County residents to help us make the selection. And it'll be a multi-tier because it's RFQ, so we'll go through people who submit, and then we'll go make some selections from there, and then invite people to create proposals that they'll be compensated for, and then we'll get those proposals back and we'll have something that we can really imagine in this place.
And all of that with a blind selection, like.
Yes, just like all of our. And I've gone over this all with the all of the community members and the AJMP that we've worked on these meetings, and I've talked to them and talked them through like what they're, so that they know what to expect in our public art process, and that is many steps, but this is it. And I've created FAQs for them all to take home, everything, so that they realize that there'll be a representation of the Athens-Clarke County community in this selection process, which is important because like we all have a part, I think, to reconcile this history and to be a part of like what the Lindentown reconciliation project is really about. And that's really the spirit of like what that mosaic was. It's like inviting people in to understand the history and to appreciate what has transpired so that we might all learn from this. So it's really important. Yes.
I'm
It's okay,
sorry.
it's okay, no, please.
So with digital assets, I'm just curious, like with the public art master plan, if there's any kind of consistency and like for the posterity of this project. So, because with digital curation or digital art projects, it can be pretty iffy if like in a couple of years somebody's not managing the website and then kind of, and I know that's not something that you're in charge of, but I'm just curious to what degree our public art master plan or our best practices with like signage and digital materials, like how does that factor in to this project? Like, are they subject to some of the same considerations that all the public art projects are, or are they again kind of separate and distinct because they're under the Athens Justice Amendment? I'm sorry, this is like a really loaded question.
No,
I'm just
that's,
curious.
no, it's good. I haven't got there yet. It will be held to all of our public art maintenance standards, and likely the way we collect those, the like sort of the data and the metadata around artwork so that it goes into our like city works, which is how we like repair and track things. As far as like the archival assets related to Lennon-town history, I won't be in charge of those, but I am going to be part of like we're working on that. We're gonna collect a bunch of history, and then we're gonna talk about the best ways to share it. And I say that's why I've not said a website or an app, because I've just called it a digital repository, because I don't know the exact final home for it. We'll be asking people from the community to help us decide and make those decisions. So that would be helpful if you have ideas about the best strategies going forward from like an archivist standpoint. It would be really important. Like I said, I'm really focused on the art piece, but I also appreciate that like the signage, the digital site, and the artwork, it's all gonna be moving forward together. And I'm working closely with Dr. Epps in the inclusion office all of this city hall to make sure all of these things go forward. But we've literally never done this before, so we are putting it together one step at a time. Going slowly, but going together is the strategy.
One last just basic logistical question. How much money is in this lost fund from 2011? I'm sorry if you said that already.
No, I don't think I said it actually. I think it's 250.
It's 260 something like that.
It's over 200.
That has to be spent on art.
Yes.
Is there a timeline it has to be spent by?
It has to be spent by the time they close out the SPOS 2011 budget. And there is a couple projects that are at the very end. For example, the cost of building is like Project 37, and that hasn't been completed yet. So like there's a couple projects at the end that'll we probably have a few more years before they're completed. But there is, somewhat of a expiration date on those funds, because once they close out the SPOS 2011, we can't move those funds to another account. So
There'll be other opportunities.
yeah, there's also, like we've talked about the budgets, how, we have our operating budget, we have the capital budget that we get every year. So, that's not the only public art funds that there are. That's just funds that were used to kind of start the public art program. And the idea behind those funds were to add to other projects or projects that weren't going to be funded through a SPOS funded project that didn't have any funding. It's basically any public art project on public property.
It was originally the initial project statement. Funding for a public art program will provide the selection and placement of public art within designated areas to include.
Can you go back to your first slide that has the proposal or whatever slide was it? Thank you.
I wrote this just like it was part of the proposal that I've been working with my colleagues here.
So it said that the original budget was 410,000 in 2011. According to the slides.
Yeah, some has been spent.
So we've spent a little less than half of it, and we're how many years in? 12. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, that's not the money that funds all of our projects, because remember, they're 1% of the construction projects. So a lot of projects have, designated funding. So this is additional funding to add to those SPOS projects or to do projects that are independent of those projects.
Seems to me that we have the funds and that it fits within what the purpose of
Oh, yeah.
these funds are.
Yeah.
That's why I asked to put it back so I could just make a motion. So I'm like, I think we've talked this to death.
Yeah.
So I move that we approve an additional $25,000 from the SPOS 2011 fund to supplement the current Lynn Town budget for a walk of recognition.
A second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Sure. Any opposed? Great.
Thank you very much.
Great proposal.
Yeah.
And if anybody does have questions about the Center for Racial Justice and Black people on the board, if anyone has any questions about that, it's the same kind of thing. We're breaking it up. We've never done it, so it's all just kind of like one foot in front of the other. But we do have a space at the Classic Center.
Okay.
Oh,
At the,
Which is on the ground floor, like right behind where the hockey office used to be.
Okay. Is it in the, it's not in the new arena building? It's gonna be, okay.
There were some challenges with that in terms of, finding a continuous space that already had bathroom access, because if you have to add bathrooms, that increases the cost. They also have already allocated funding to Historic Athens to do the affordable housing piece, and then also the money for the Black History Center. And we actually have a very rudimentary website up as well.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I did not know.
Well, yeah, it just went up. It just went up last week. Like, it just has our mission and vision on there, which we worked really diligent on. So,
Miss Patty has written a book about her life in town, and she also wrote a play.
yeah, the
Casting-
musical.
The musical, thank you. And
Yeah.
they're casting for that right now. It will be.
The auditions are January 20th. She's also my cousin, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's, Lynn Town is like, there's a lot, it's created a lot of intersections for us to talk about important things.
And it's, the first act of reparations in the country, really. So it's historic, and it's something that we really need to keep moving on, because a lot of people are looking to it as a model.
Yeah, there's, I mean, and speaking to that, there is a documentary crew from PBS that has came to Lynn Town. What is it?
the Linton Town Lane
Linton Town Lane.
dedication.
So there has been documentation of this. Oh, sorry. They're cameras.
I don't know anything about that.
It is, yeah, people are paying attention. It's the general state.
Let's just say there might be a national story that may come of, or another national story, because how many have there been? Every time I look up Patty's on the
ESPN.
cover of something.
I knew she'd been there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I guess this is the end of the meeting where we share anything we want to share. I know Dee Dee would want me to share that the call for the juried show, if you want to apply to be in the Linden House juried show, that's live now. So if you know anyone who might be interested, yes, 49th annual juried show. Yes, so it's $35 and you get to submit up to 3 pieces, 2D, 3D, video, all kinds of stuff, textile.
I've been the curator for their video art show that is on the second floor. I think it's this Thursday. A lot of local artists in that show. It's really good.
Any other goings-ons anyone wants to share?
Visiting artist lecture at the School of Art on the 16th with the jeweler, Masako Onodera, who is also exhibiting at Africa right now. And then the Athenaeum is going to have an opening for their next exhibition on January 26th with the Brooklyn-based artist Fabienne Serre. And there's going to be lots of programming semester around that exhibition. See you then.
A week from today is the Athens Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service, which is on Dr. King's actual birthday. There are opportunities to serve at different sites in Athens, but I welcome you all to serve at Brooklyn Cemetery, the largest site, the most fun site, because I'll be there. The actual service day starts at 10, but there's a kickoff. I can't remember what time it's at. I really thought. I think the ticket is at 9, maybe 8:30. But it's on the website, so I never get to it.
It's a coffee and donuts or something like that.
They serve some kind of, last year was like those biscuits, like biscuit sandwiches or something. Or biscuit- Is it biscuits? And get your sushi first.
Get there early enough to get there.
Or if you serve with Brooklyn, you get your t-shirts for you and we just bring them straight to the side. What you got? You got something. You got it.
Oh, this Wednesday, my live band open mic at Inner Shots, from 8 to 10. We got open mic and then have a live band that plays behind poets and MCs and whatnot. It's like the 6th one we've done. It's growing a lot. So, the second Wednesday of the month.
Anything else to share? All right. So motion to adjourn?
I'll move to adjourn. Did you have anything? No. You seconded? Ezra seconded. Bye. Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Thanks, y'all.
So what are you doing?